welcome today's host, Sarah Kemp, as she leads discussions on substance use disorder and the journey to recovery. You're listening to Redefining Recovery, a recovery revolution.
Well, hello, everybody. It's your favorite guest host, Sarah, and Darnell is with me today. Caddy is doing a Recovery Coach Academy this week, so we are filling in for her this week. Darnell, do you want to say hi?
Yeah. Hey, everybody. I'm Darnell Cox, Director of Operations at Minnesota Recovery Connection.
Awesome. So we'll start the show like we normally do. So, Darnell, what's right with you today?
What's right with me is I plan on heading to the gym after this. It's leg day, so...
okay, your favorite.
My favorite. Not really, but really. Yeah, so we're going to get that in after this. So.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Sarah, what's right with you?
I think what's right with me today is doing this show. It's always fun, a little nerve-wracking, but it's always fun to get to do something a little different than my everyday normal job. So... before we get too far into the content today, I want to give a special thanks to our current and previous generous funders, including the Patrick and Amy Butler Family Foundation, Otto Bremer Trust, the Sauer Family Foundation, the Hardenberg Foundation, alongside with our many other foundations, corporate and individual contributors for making this podcast series possible. We also want to call you to action as the recovery community and community as a whole, and join us in supporting our mission by becoming a monthly or annual donor at any level that resonates with you, or by volunteering. Your engagement helps us sustain our efforts in fostering recovery and resilience. Visit minnesotarecovery.org and click the donate button or volunteer links at the top of our page to make a difference today.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. We appreciate all your contributions, and we couldn't do without you.
Exactly. So, Darnell, it's been a little bit since you've been on the show, so do you want to just remind people who you are?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, so I'm Darnell, Director of Operations at Minnesota Recovery Connection. I got involved about 3 years ago as a volunteer, ended up getting certified. I started providing one-on-one peer support. I still do a lot of support for individuals, specifically in the justice-involved programs that we have, and I'm always willing to help out new peers that we got and kind of walking them through what it takes to be a peer recovery specialist.
Well, that just segues into what we're talking about today. So I know last week Caddy and Cynthia had a big call out for fundraising and donations last week. So this week we're going to touch on our other big pillar of what we do at Minnesota Recovery Connection, which is peer-to-peer support. So Darnell and I are going to have a conversation about what that looks like, what they are, things like that. So Darnell, how would you describe to somebody that does not know what a peer recovery specialist is?
Yeah, totally. So a peer recovery specialist is a person that is also in long-term recovery, that's kind of been down the road, knows how things kind of worked, was able to navigate through that, and then they end up getting certified and are able to use their lived experience to help others navigate some of the barriers or maybe some of the struggles or just some resources they may not know about, help them kind of figure things out and figure out what's next in their recovery.
Oh, that's awesome. And they also embody the powerful, what's the word? I don't know what I'm trying to think of, but hope, resiliency. What I also like about peer recovery specialists is they're not clinical.
For sure.
I call it the good part of an Oreo, the squishy middle.
Yeah.
The good, the
part that they can really relate with. You can say, hey, he's been in a position before. I especially know, like, individuals I work with in the jail where I was in the same jail as the individuals that are in there now, and I can say, I wore those same jumpsuits. I know how it feels, and I know that it seems like it's hopeless, but putting that next foot in front of the other and kind of figuring out what those goals are and working towards that, you can really find out who that next person you are in recovery, who that evolved human you want to be.
So talk about your work in Dakota County Jail for a minute. What is that like when you're talking to your participants there, reminding or showing them that you have been there, that this is where I am now? Like, how does that resonate with your participants?
Oh, it really gains traction. When I sit down with an individual and I kind of tell them a story, oftentimes they'll ask me, like, hey, could you give me a little background about your story? And I say, I was in the same position as you are, 3 years back when I got arrested. And they're really to say that it's inspiring. I hear it's inspiring a lot. Like,
that's awesome.
Yeah, and I hear that it really gives motivation that there is hope to get over that hurdle. Because oftentimes, and I know I can speak for myself, in my addiction, I didn't see this even possible. I never thought I'd be sitting here talking about recovery. I never thought I'd wake up every day, go to work, and helping others find recovery.
Right.
It didn't even seem like it was on my radar, and it's surprising what could happen if you really just find something to focus on and work towards it.
Well, and I think, too, peer recovery specialists, they're common, but they're still new. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of people know about them, but also they don't at the same time.
Yeah. I think that it's still kind of getting formulated, and there's a lot of misinformation sometimes.
Yep.
And I think that it's a wonderful service, and it's most definitely necessary. It really helps bridge that gap, especially with individuals coming out of intensive outpatient or programming or any type of treatment, rather. Having that extra support and having somebody to help define goals. A big part of what we do is, find out what those goals are that an individual wants to succeed in life, and kind of map out a step-by-step basis of how we can kind of help them get there.
Mm-hmm. And I was in the training that Caddy's doing this week. Earlier today, somebody in the class was talking about how we used to lie to his counselor or lie to his doctor, but working with a peer recovery specialist, we could be that safe place for somebody.
Yeah. That
someone can tell their truth with no judgment.
Yeah. Ultimately, we're that person first model, and your recovery is your recovery, and you're in recovery when you want to be. So there's really no need to go to your peer and say, "Oh no, I haven't been using." Even if you are using, if you are, and that's fine. I mean, we can still work on what your next goal is to get you to a point where maybe you want to use some harm reduction strategies and maybe just cut back. And that's perfectly fine, too. It's really focusing on what you want it to look like and then help you navigate in that direction.
Right. Or, if somebody's using, like, heroin, for example, but then stopped using that and smoking weed instead, whatever harm reduction looks like for somebody, or what their recovery pathway is. And what I love about peer recovery specialists is that we honor all pathways.
Yeah, totally.
There's no right or wrong way to somebody's recovery. We're just here to support you.
Yep. Your recovery is your recovery, and we're just here to help you try to define that and get there where you want to be. So that's the beautiful thing about it.
Awesome.
No stigma attached, and nobody's trying to tell you what to do. It's completely your focus.
No, and I think another powerful thing that we do when we're working with participants, we ask them what they could do, and we don't should people.
Correct.
I almost swore for a second because that's it's an easy one. But we ask them what they could do.
Totally. What are the options?
And which helps them make their own choices, which will then possibly make the change more impactful because they're coming up with the idea, opposed to when you're working with somebody or when I'm working with somebody and telling what they should do.
Right. Yeah. Nobody wants to be told what they should do or what's the best for them. They want to figure it out on their own. It could be autonomous in the situation. Sure.
I don't know.
They want to be the one who makes the decisions.
Yeah.
And that's really what's going to make a lasting change in life if an individual comes with it for themselves, develops the seed and lets it grow within themselves.
Yeah. And I think, that empowerment we give people is so cool to watch. Like, watch it as it develops and grows and things like that. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, that's the beautiful thing, seeing somebody transform and really just find out what clicks. Where they want to go. Then they figure it out. Like, okay, this is where I want to go, but I don't know if I can get there. And then you say, okay, let's map it out, break it down real small, and we'll make a map of how we're going to get there. And it's just like they come alive and realize it's really possible.
Yeah, and I think too, with working as a peer recovery specialist, using your lived experience for a good thing. And not seeing it as, oh, I was in active use and that's all I'm going to be. Now I get to use my lived experience to help somebody else.
Yep, it's a helpful tool. It's an asset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I really love the fact that we focus on peer-to-peer services. So we're going to go on a quick break, and when we come back, we'll dive more into peer recovery specialists. So you are listening to Redefining Recovery, a Recovery Revolution.
See you in a minute.
This guitar needs 6 strings.
This song always
'cause
reminds me of
there's
summer.
no
Like, I say that every time, but like now that the sun's out, it just, I don't know, it makes me happy.
It's good vibes, good vibes.
You are listening to Redefining Recovery, a recovery revolution, and I'm here with Darnell today. And we are diving into peer recovery specialists and the job and what it looks like to help the community understand what it is. So to go into what peer recovery support is, or peer recovery specialist, so it's voluntary. We never make anybody do it. It's up to them, and we let them choose for how long they work with us, because we don't want to put a time frame on somebody's recovery. And what I really like too is that we focus on their strengths.
Yeah, and try to determine what those strengths are.
Yeah.
And build upon those.
Yeah. And that we're person-driven, self-directed, so that the way we see peer services is that the participant is driving the bus and we're just there to help support them.
Yep, just that navigation.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. What else would you define peer recovery supportive?
I would definitely define it as almost like a mentorship. We can model what a person in recovery looks like, what consistency looks like. A lot of times individuals may not have support in the community. For example, a guy I was working with, I just helped him actually get into treatment today.
That's exciting.
Yeah. You know, so me and him's been working for over a year now. He's kind of been in and out programming. It didn't quite work. Prison, back and forth. But, you can never give up on an individual. No. Because I can't tell you how many times I've been to treatment and it didn't work. So, one of these days will stick. But, he ended up leaving the program, and we found him a new program. And we were doing the phone interview yesterday, and they said, who's your support system? And he said, Darnell is.
That's so awesome.
And that's what it's all about. I mean, some individuals, they don't have support in the community. So having that peer recovery specialist is their one line of connection to a positive individual that can be there and show up consistently. Yeah,
and that's also one of the other big things is advocacy. Yeah. So you advocated for your participant.
Oh, yeah, 100% advocating for individuals to get in the programming with their PO. For example, that individual had to get in contact with his PO and say, hey, this is what happened. I left the program, but I'm going to a new program. I found something else, which shows that he was proactive in the situation. And oftentimes that can go a long way with probation officers.
Oh, that's so cool, Darnell, and just seeing where your participants can go.
Yeah, totally.
And how they get into their recovery, even if they fall off for a period of time, just knowing that you're there.
Yeah, totally. Because, recovery is not just a straight line up. Sometimes it looks like a wave. You're ups and downs. Sometimes you're way up. Sometimes it goes way down. But you never really done until you stop. So you can just keep on trying and see what works. And it's a journey. That's what it is. It's a journey. So you got to keep on moving forward.
That's really cool. And I've heard that too with our telephone recovery support program. It's peer services, but in a different way, just over the phone. But there's been people that we've called that don't answer for months, and then they finally answer, and they say, well, just seeing that you called every week made a difference.
Yeah, modeling that consistency and that reliability. And somebody cares, and somebody's going to reach out, and that's sometimes that can be all somebody needs to say, okay, I'm ready now. I'm ready, and then they know where to go.
Exactly. So I would love for you to touch on, so if somebody was interested in working with a peer recovery specialist at Minnesota Recovery Connection, what can they expect from one of our peers?
Yeah, so first and foremost, they're going to get contacted by the individual and just kind of just outlining what peer recovery support is, what it looks like. Obviously, we'll have some consent forms to sign. But really the big part of it is in the first couple of sessions, either in person face-to-face or over Zoom, is really going over what we call recovery domain assessment.
Can you explain that a little bit just so someone understands what that is?
Yep, totally. So with the recovery domain assessment, we have 12 areas of recovery, and those areas include stuff like your overall recovery from substance use. It includes housing, transportation,
finances,
cultural, spiritual beliefs, budget and money management, all those and more. I don't have them off the top of my head.
No, it's okay. I just wanted the community to understand the verbiage that we're using.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, so we got these 12 areas of recovery, and ultimately we're looking for satisfactory levels within those areas. So if an individual says they're maybe dissatisfied in transportation, they will say, oh, how so? What's going on there? They'll say, hey, I don't have my license, or I need to get a vehicle. And then at the end of doing that recovery domain assessment, we can set goals in those areas.
Sure.
Yep. So we'll say, okay, so first goal is, hey, let's get in contact with the DMV. Let's see what you need to get that license back. What are the steps we need to take? And we'll really break that down and help formulate those goals.
Okay.
And that's the big part of what peer recovery support is about, is helping to navigate, figure out, establish, and really achieve those goals that individuals want to do to get their satisfactory levels up in their recovery capital.
Okay. So when working with a peer, like what you can do it in person, on Zoom, like what does that look like for somebody? Yep.
So it's face-to-face interactions. We want to either do in person or over Zoom, and that can be set up at the person's choosing, and also the timing is completely up to the participant. It could be once a week, it could be twice a week, it could be more, depending on how much support the individual needs. It's really just based on what the individual wants to work on in recovery. So that's the beautiful thing about it truly being a voluntary program. It's as much involved as you need and as much hands-on as you'll need.
Oh, that's awesome. And it can be for as long as they want it to be.
Yep.
So there's no time limit. So that takes the pressure off the person thinking they have to figure this all out in like 3 months.
Right. Because oftentimes, there's some goals that it may take a while. Some individual might say they're trying to, get student loans paid off, get back into school, that type of stuff. It may take a little while, but knowing somebody's there for the long haul that can help check in with you, see what's next, really kind of help navigate, point you to resources. I know there's often programs that individuals, and oftentimes in my line of work, like I have a lot of resources that I know consistently about, and I can rattle off, and sometimes you forget that the normal world may not know anything about those. So it's like somebody gets in there and they say something that may seem almost impossible, and then they come and talk to me about it. I'm like, oh yeah, I know somebody who does that. Yeah. Hold on, I got you. Yeah, I know somebody who just
And that's what's the crazy part is there's so many different resources out there.
Yeah.
That it's so hard to know of all of them.
Right.
And especially when you're early in recovery or you're trying to figure out what recovery could look like, you don't know where to start with looking at resources.
Yeah. Oftentimes you just know kind of what you need or what you want, and that's it. And you don't know how to get there and who could help. So.
And that's the beauty of working with someone like Darnell or myself or any peer recovery specialist, especially at Minnesota Recovery Connection, is that we can help guide you into the right resource, or help you remove the barrier that you have that's in front of you, or overall just be a support for your recovery.
Yep, somebody to connect with, somebody to say, hey, what's going right with you today? What's going right in your recovery? What can we do to help support you?
Yeah, and that's the cool thing about being a part of the Recovery Coach Academy this week is seeing this group of individuals that are taking the training, learning all the things, the skills, and seeing them like put it all together, and realizing that they can make a difference for somebody.
Yeah, see that passion grow, and as somebody says, what I've looked at in my past is maybe shameful, or maybe something that's I don't want to share with anybody, and just realize that, hey, I can share this with the world because I can help a lot of people.
Exactly.
Just making that an asset to life versus a barrier or a stigma or something that you're afraid to talk about. Because
it's so common, I think, nowadays to still have that stigma and not want to talk about substance use disorder, but being able to step into a role and talk about it, that's pretty cool that we've created this. And and not even just to talk about it, but to use that as a tool to help others get past that. Yeah, it's an amazing thing to see, not only with the classes that I'm a part of with Caddy, but just out with our peers, hearing their success stories with their participants, or for me, I have a small bunch that I work with, but just seeing their growth over the time that I work with them, like that's partly why I love it, is seeing them figure it out for themselves and achieving that recovery. you.
For sure. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. So what would you say, because we both know there's still a lot with all the things that have happened in the recovery community. There's a lot going on. There's still a lot of misinformation out there about what a peer recovery specialist can do and can't do. And you're the right man to answer this question because you are director of operations. So you will help our staff stay on track.
Yeah, no, totally, I do. And a couple of the big things that I hear a lot of times, like, for example, I may get a call from a person saying, hey, I'm looking to get a peer recovery specialist, and say, okay, like what kind of things are you looking for support in? And an individual will say, well, I just need rides to X, Y, Z. I need to go here or there or something. And truth be told, that's not what a peer recovery specialist does. We're not taxi cabs.
Nope.
And that kind of became some misinformation that happened at one point. So the big part of it is if an individual's recovery plan calls for maybe a transportation to the situation, then that can happen. But we're not there to take an individual to a meeting every week.
I feel like the transportation misinformation became the biggest.
Yeah, totally. And I think that one of the big things about being a peer is helping to figure out like self-sufficiency, being able to handle the situation on their own. Because ultimately, we want to get to individuals to a point where they're able to get to a point where they're surviving on their own. They're not needing a peer to do these things. And like one of the things big with transportation is like going to meetings, right?
Yep.
So we really push for individuals like, if we can get you to a meeting. And then just networking while you're there and saying, hey, is anybody willing to get me to the next meeting, come pick me up? And oftentimes they are. Yeah. And that way they'll be able to get there beyond working with the peer recovery
or showing them like the bus route or showing them, whatever other means they could get there.
Totally. Or even connecting them with resources. There's resources out there where they can get bus cards and be able to navigate transportation like that. So it's always trying to have them figure out ways to be able to handle things without support.
Sure. So what are the other things that you've run into when you're re-educating people about peer recovery services?
I guess let me think. A couple other ones I would say is like you're not your friends. You got to definitely put some boundaries with situations. Oftentimes, individuals may want to like hang out with their peer recovery specialists. And
really?
It's really not in our organization. But
I was going to say I have not heard that.
I've heard it in other situations where, and ultimately it's a professional connection with individuals where we're here to work on goals and outline where they want to go. It's not like a friendship type thing. So you have good boundaries.
And I think that's a big misconception. Because it's not like a typical clinical role, like a LA or a licensed drug and alcohol counselor or a therapist or doctor. Since we're peers.
We're peers.
And
we're at the same level. So it's hard sometimes when you're at the same level with an individual to not look at them, hey, that's my buddy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so you got to have some really good boundaries and just let somebody know. I know we talk about in the class, like not having people on Facebook or not adding them to that because you got to put those boundaries out quick. Yeah,
because if you don't, then the relationship can turn quickly and then it becomes less about their recovery in theory.
Yeah, totally. Another big part of that too is having those boundaries outside of work time. Oftentimes in our work, individuals may call you at any hours of the night type deal. And you got to have those boundaries to say, okay, my office hours are my office hours, and I will call you back at the next available time during office hours. Just taking care of yourself, because that's a good way to get burnt out when you're working when you're not working. Yeah.
Yes, and I preach self-care so much with the team because it's truly important, because if you're not taking care of yourself outside of work, you can't show up at work.
100%.
The way you want to, or show up for your participants for that matter, in a healthy way.
Yeah. You got to take care of yourself because burnout is real and it can happen, and you definitely got to take time for yourself. You got to recharge, and you can't support individuals if you're not supporting yourself.
No, and I think the good thing about having this conversation today is that we get to provide information for the community in case they are interested in looking to work with with a peer recovery specialist, whether with us at Minnesota Recovery Connection or at a different organization, but they get to hear what the expectations of a peer recovery specialist are.
Yeah.
From the man himself.
From the man himself, it's me.
That's you. I mean, I laugh, but he does a huge job at Minnesota Recovery Connection at helping keep our peers on track. He's a good idea man. Like, if you need help, he helps our peers and just helps educate people.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about good supervision and being that senior peer there that's able to help others navigate some issues. I mean, oftentimes when something does come awry and they're not sure what to do with the situation, and they come to me and we'll kind of work it out and talk it out. And ultimately, I handle those situations almost like I'm handling one of my participants. I kind of just, just have them kind of come up with themselves. Like, we'll ask them questions. Let's figure out motivational interviewing.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I love motivational interviewing. Yeah. Okay. Well. So we got that out of the way, the misinformation, the re-education. I think that one thing I really want to point out about what a peer recovery specialist support is. So I found a definition on one of our slides from our peer recovery specialist training, from William White. Caddy calls him the godfather of peer recovery services. What it says is the recovery coach is a person who helps remove personal and environmental obstacles to recovery. And so, I think that's just exactly what it is. We help remove barriers. We help remove any issues. Okay, not any, but we try, at least provide resources to do so. And I think just being able to talk to somebody that knows what it's like, that's the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, totally. Having that lived experience to say, I've been there, and this is what I did now, and mm-hmm. you can do what you want to do. You can find your thing and excel at it and work towards it, and be proud as a new person in recovery. Because oftentimes, like for me, like I feel I became like an involved person in my life from where I was in my addiction. I look back then, and I'm not the same guy at all. I'm the same guy, but I'm evolved.
But you've used the skills that you've learned since being at Minnesota Recovery Connection to evolve in your recovery. Yeah,
totally.
And that's what you can show to your participants.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think another cool thing is that you had a participant from Dakota County Jail that came out and now is working seasonally as a certified peer recovery specialist with us. And that's pretty cool.
Yeah, totally. I mean, that's just kind of the way it works too. You keep coming back, and so the individual I was working with him in the jail, and then he ended up having to do some time and got out, and he showed up and said, I want to volunteer, I want to get involved, I want to take the class, and having that passion and that drive to help the recovery community and be part of things, and ultimately that came about, and now he's working with us. He's providing wonderful supports, and it really goes to show that any individual put their mind to it. If this is mm-hmm. something you're interested in doing, yep. You have the ability and you have the credentials, if you will, to become a peer recovery specialist. You have the lived experience,
because that is a requirement.
Yeah. You definitely have it inside of you, and finding a way to use that to help others ultimately can help yourself.
Yeah.
I know for me, coming to work every day and being involved in recovery every day, it does wonders for my recovery.
Yeah, and that's Brandy, who I had on the show a couple weeks ago. She keeps telling me, she's like, working with these individuals fills her cup.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
And so it can be a wonderful thing for somebody that's maybe looking at what should I do next. Like, I've been in recovery for a while, but I want to do the next thing. This could be it.
Yeah, totally. And my advice, if individuals out there and they are thinking, hey, I want to get involved, I want to do something like this, my advice would say, like, get out and volunteer, first and foremost. Get out and volunteer.
With us, Minnesota Recovery Connection.
With us, with anybody.
Well, yes, but I'm always going to push our volunteer program.
With us, we'd love to have you, but if you're listening from outside of the Twin Cities, man, just get involved in a recovery community organization.
Yep.
And start volunteering and get to know what it kind of feels like, what it looks like.
Yep.
And that's what I started as a volunteer, and I fell in love with the work, like doing TRS calling and calling individuals and maybe calling the same person on a weekly basis and checking in and saying, hey,
because that happened to you, didn't it? Like when you were doing telephone recovery support, you started having the regulars.
Oh yeah, for sure. You'd have those regulars that they're looking forward to getting your call and you're checking in, and maybe they don't need much of resources, but they say, hey, thanks for calling, things are going great, and it really it feels good, like you're an important person in somebody else's recovery.
Yeah. And it shows that they matter.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing, is that peer recovery specialists can show another person that they're valuable, that they're worth it. Because some people might not feel that while they're in active use. And they can show that it can be done.
Mm-hmm. And they're part of something. They're part of the recovery community. Oftentimes, in that addiction, I know I felt isolated away from things.
Oh, I know I isolated too.
Yeah. And when when you have that individual calling you on a regular basis and checking in with you and showing that they care, you really feel connected to a recovery community. 'Cause that's what we are. We are a community of individuals, and we're here to help. Yeah,
and I want to say that it's something magical seeing, especially our volunteers come in, and their main goal is to do the class. Like, that's their end goal. But then they start doing TRS, and they start seeing what it is, and they're like, this is so cool. And I was like, yeah, it can be. Yeah. It's a really awesome thing to see people grow in interest in it and wanting to help other people, but realizing it's more than just helping that one person.
Yeah, totally. It's really an eye-opener to see the works coming together and see the impact,
Yeah. So do you have like a success story that you want to share with a participant?
I got loads of stories. I know, like, for one of the individuals that I was working with in the Dakota County Jail, he was really big into smart recovery.
Okay, what's smart recovery?
Smart recovery, and I don't know, I have all the information on it, but it's a type of support group. Not quite like a 12 steps program. It's more focusing on goals, and there's a lot of worksheets and stuff to it.
Oh, okay.
So anyways, they didn't have that available inside of the Dakota County Jail. And individuals in that setting, they don't have access to resources. So
oh, really?
No, they don't have. They can't print stuff off or all that stuff.
Oh.
So that's one of the big things I do when I go down to the Dakota County Jail, is like I find out what kind of stuff they need as far as materials and can bring it down. So I end up getting him the facilitator's manual for the smart recovery.
Oh, fancy.
And a lot of the worksheets and stuff, and he actually got the deputy approvals to start a smart recovery meeting with inside the jail.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Yep. And he successfully started that whole program. And,
wow.
Now he's out, and I mean, that program's still going on in the jail.
Really?
So, he really started something in there that could help others.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, totally. I mean, there's a lot of really cool situations where you really see somebody, take the help that they get and really like let it grow. And it always comes together, and you can say, now, what I just helped that individual with, now that's going to help somebody else.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you don't even know. Like, who would have thought?
You don't.
The smart recovery meeting would continue.
You don't. Yeah. You never know. Another cool thing that I just realized too, and I seen and I seen my very first participant I had.
Okay.
I seen his name come across on the RCA application. So, and I haven't seen him yet. But this was over 2 years ago now. And I haven't talked to him for a while, and so I know he's doing well, and he's coming around, and I look forward to seeing him when he comes in.
That's the magic.
Yeah, it's the magic.
Is that he worked with you, got his stuff together, and saw that he could do it himself.
Yeah.
That's
now
cool.
He's going to come in and take the class and provide the support.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about it, is you see the growth.
Yeah.
and what people can be.
Yeah. Yeah, you never know. That's what I always tell individuals too. Like, you never know where you're going to go with your recovery and where it's going to take you. You know, it's almost just like that snowball effect, and you keep doing the next right thing, and it's going to grow and grow and grow, and pretty soon you're a huge snowball going down the mountain. Nothing's going to stop you. You're rolling for recovery.
Exactly. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back and finish up this conversation about peer recovery specialists. You're listening to Redefining Recovery, a Recovery Revolution.
This guitar needs 6 strings, 'cause without it there's no song.
Welcome back to Redefining Recovery, a Recovery Revolution. I'm here with
Darnell.
Okay. So we're going to finish up our conversation about peer recovery specialists. And I think one of the main things that we should point out too is that because there's so many different ways to recovery, a lot of times people see a peer recovery specialist as a sponsor. Like a sponsor you'd see from like AA, NA, NEA that has
any 12 steps.
Yeah. Yeah. So a peer recovery specialist is different than a sponsor. As a peer recovery specialist, we honor all pathways. Not saying a sponsor doesn't, but that's the main idea behind a peer recovery specialist. And we also don't go through the 12 steps.
Yeah.
Like a sponsor does.
Yeah, totally. I know, and I've been asked too by participants, like, "Hey, can you be my sponsor? Or are you a sponsor?"
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I mean, they may, they've heard sponsorship in the 12 Steps program, and they kind of say it sounds kind of like you're a sponsor. And truth be told, I mean, it's different. And a big part of the way it's different is I know with 12 Steps, it's mainly an abstinence-based program, and we're honoring all pathways and not necessarily just the abstinence program. And we're not going to do the 12 steps. But I always tell an individual if they are interested in 12 steps, if they're a 12 steps person, that's great and that's wonderful because that's a wonderful recovery pathway.
Yep.
It doesn't help everyone.
No, and I think that's the beauty of a peer recovery specialist is that you're not forced to do one way.
Find your way.
Find your way, and we honor it, whatever that looks like. Gardening, going to the gym, your kitties, like it is for me, baking, whatever it is, it can be yours. And you're more, in my opinion, you're more likely to stay in your recovery if you find something that you enjoy.
Yeah, that works for you. What works for you?
Yeah.
What fills your cup?
So, Darnell, what fills your cup? I'm just curious.
For me, I got really into fitness now. I'm really into fitness.
He inspired me, folks.
Yeah, I try to inspire anyone that wants to get. I'm a firm believer in like working on your body and being healthy and doing things to improve yourself. I go to the gym 6 days a week. I play basketball one day. On Wednesday at Frogtown Recovery Cafe.
Shout out to Frogtown.
If you play basketball out there, 5 to 7 Wednesday nights, come play basketball.
Plug.
Shout out.
Yep, exactly. Show up.
But yeah, it's totally, and it's my self-care. I can go there after work. I'll be headed there after this, and it's just my way to recharge myself, do something for me, and feel good about it.
And I think that's the important thing because Darnell does more peer support than I do. I have a small caseload, but I ask him that because it's a good reminder for him to take care of himself. And I also pester him a lot, asking him if he's okay. So,
and I'm okay.
I know. I check in with everybody at least once a day, or I try to at least, because it's important for me that everybody, our team, is doing well and taking care of themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good to have somebody checking in on you, just to check and make sure everything's rolling smooth. Because ultimately, our team's here to support others, and we got to make sure our team is supported.
Exactly. So let me see. So what? Recovery specialist is not a sponsor. What else are they not?
They're not your friend.
They're not a taxi service.
Your taxi service. They're not your PO.
Nope.
So we're not gonna. That's another thing too. What individuals may think that we're gonna like call and tell their PO, hey, he's back using again or something, and they know we're not gonna do that. And in fact, we're gonna be there to kind of advocate for the good things you may be doing. Like he may have returned to use, but he contacted me on a weekly basis, and we're looking for a treatment program.
So I was curious, and I was going to ask this of you earlier, because Minnesota Recovery Connection has a big involvement in the justice program. Mm-hmm. How do peer recovery specialists fit into the justice program, or to the justice world? Yeah.
Well, I mean, truth be told, there's a vast majority of individuals involved in the justice system have some type of a chemical dependency background, and it really overlaps. So having an individual help navigate situations not only in substance use but also in reentry is a huge thing. Individuals coming out of incarceration, they need support too, and what better to have somebody support who's got out of prison or got out of jail, who's been there and who's successfully re-entered into the community and can help give guidance and resources similar to peer recovery specialists giving guidance on substance use, but giving guidance on really how to navigate probation or parole, finding housing.
And I have nowhere near the justice stuff that some of our other staff does. But I think I would imagine having that support when you're coming back out into the community is a game changer for somebody.
Total game changer. Can help you get that next right step to keep you out and to keep you from recidivism and really just having that connection. It's the same concept, but in a whole nother level when it comes to justice involvement.
Yeah, and I know that's something that we've been focusing on for quite a while now because we know the need is there, and we know the support is needed. And from what I've seen from the people that come into our space is that they're so thankful that somebody has gone into Dakota County, Ramsey County, Anoka County to show up every week or, whatever that looks like. It shows them that someone cares about them in an environment where that's probably not shown a whole lot.
Oftentimes, individuals tell me, their support system kind of gave up on them.
That's sad.
I can't say we've all been there, but I've been there before. I've been incarcerated chronically back to back to back to back, where it's when you're out on the outside looking in, it's hard just to keep hope that the individual's going to figure it out. But I think that's a big part of how I can I still have hope for other individuals I'm working with. They're going to get it. They may fall off 100 times, but they're going to get it because I fell off so many times. And, once it clicks, it clicks.
Yeah, it's not recovery, no matter what environment, space you're in, it's not linear.
Yeah.
It can go all sorts of directions before it clicks.
Yeah.
And we're here as an organization, as peer recovery specialists, to support you in that and help you figure out what the next step is. Or if you're just figuring out what recovery could look like, we're here to support you in that.
Yeah, totally. When it clicks, though. When it clicks.
Exactly. That's the magic.
That's the magic. When it clicks. That's why we do this.
Exactly. So, any parting words for our listeners, Darnell?
I'd just like to say I hope we see you at the Walk for Recovery, September 13th, at the State Capitol from 10 to 3. Come show your support. If you hop on our website at minnesotarecoveryconnection.org/walk, you can sign up, register to walk. Also, the Rally Caps game is on September 16th.
Yankees.
Come see us take on the Yankees, cheer on the Twins. Tickets are $16. You can get those at our website at Minnesota Recovery Connection. MinnesotaRecovery.org/twins.
And also, just a quick note about Rally Caps. In our section, they don't serve any alcohol. We can't stop people if they bring in guests. If they bring in alcohol, we can't stop them. We might give them a mean glare or something, but we can't stop them. Just a disclaimer. And it's also $1 hot dog night.
It is, yeah.
So, and at the Walk for Recovery, we're going to have a ton of food trucks. We have a kids zone. We could have, upwards of, 100 different vendors from the recovery community. So you could come and learn, get resources for yourself. So we hope to see you there.
Hope you see you there. It's a beautiful event. I've been in for the last 3 years now, and every year it's wonderful.
Awesome. Well, thank you for listening to Redefining Recovery, a Recovery Revolution. See you later. Bye.
Bye. See ya.